Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking at cost of goods sold, what it means, how it's used, and how it's calculated. And so cost of goods sold is the cost of inventory which a business sells. And so to demonstrate this point, we'll look at a small example. So let's assume that I sell t-shirts. And so basically I buy t-shirts from a manufacturer for, let's say, $5. And so I have my t-shirts here, and I can buy each t-shirt for $5, and I sell them for, let's say, $8. And so basically what I'm doing here is I'm making a profit or a margin of $3 per t-shirt. So let's assume that this is a new business, and at the beginning of the month I decide to buy 10 t-shirts which I hope to sell. And so basically what's going to end up happening is I'm going to buy 10 at basically my cost, which is $5, which is going to equal $50 in purchases. And let's assume that during the month I sell 7 of those t-shirts. So I sell 7 shirts at my selling price, which is $8, which equals $56 in sales. And so how much inventory do I have left over? Well, my ending inventory I bought 10, I sold 7, so my ending inventory is going to have 3 t-shirts left. And how much am I going to value my inventory at? Well, I'm going to value it at the cost at which I paid for it, which is $5. And so therefore our ending inventory has a value of $15 in ending inventory. I'm just going to abbreviate it with this EI here. And so let's say in this example I want to try and calculate what my cost of goods sold is. Well, we said earlier that cost of goods sold is the cost I paid for inventory in which I sold. So in this example, how much inventory did we sell? Well, we sold 7 t-shirts. And so basically what we're trying to figure out when we come to calculate our cost of goods sold is how much it cost me to buy those 7 t-shirts which I already sold. Well, we know we bought each t-shirt at $5, so basically what our cost of goods sold would be, and I'm just going to abbreviate it by COGS, which is very common, it's going to be $5 per shirt times the number of shirts which I sold, which was 7. And so therefore my cost of goods sold is going to be $35. Now that we've calculated our cost of goods sold, we can figure out how much money we ended up making during the month. So we're going to start off with our sales. So for our sales, well, we sold 7 shirts at $8, which gave us total revenue of $56. So our sales is going to be $56. And then we're going to basically subtract our cost of goods sold, which is how much it cost us to buy the t-shirts, which we sold for $56. And so that amount is what we calculated up here. We sold 7 shirts, which we bought at $5 each, for total cost of goods sold of $35. COGS, which leaves us with basically, this is called our gross profit. Which is the difference between our sales and our cost of goods sold, and that's going to leave us with $21. And so another way we could calculate cost of goods sold is using a formula which is normally used for companies who adopt a periodic inventory system. And so this formula to calculate cost of goods sold is equal to your beginning inventory plus your purchases minus your ending inventory. And so if we use this formula for the same example which we used before, we should get $35 as our cost of goods sold as well. And so let's go ahead and use that formula. The first thing we need to know is our beginning inventory. Well, in this example we said let's assume we were a new business, so our beginning inventory was basically 0. We started off with no inventory. But then we bought a bunch of t-shirts. We bought 10 t-shirts at $5 each, so our purchases was this number up here, the $50 in purchases. And so I'm going to plug that into this formula. And then all we have left to do is to subtract our ending inventory. And our ending inventory was basically the 3 t-shirts that we had left at $5 each, which gave us a value of $15 for our ending inventory. So I'm going to go back and plug this into the formula as well. And so we end up with cost of goods sold of $35, which is basically the exact same number that we had before as well. So we had cost of goods sold of $35 here, which ties in to this number here as well. So in summation, what we can say is that the 7 t-shirts we sold generated revenue of $56, and those 7 t-shirts cost us $35 to buy, which left us with profit of $21 in total for the 7 t-shirts that we sold. And so another way we could actually calculate that $21, we determined at the beginning that off of each shirt we sold, we were making $3 off of each shirt. So another way I could calculate this $21 here is to say, well, okay, our profit off of each shirt was $3. And then I could just multiply that by the number of t-shirts which I sold, which was 7, and that leaves us with $21, which is basically the same number here. And so that's a basic illustration of cost of goods sold. What we'll look at in some other videos is how this can be impacted when using different inventory methods. I hope you found this video useful, and be sure to visit our sponsors to help keep our content free.